Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Marcia.
And I'm Meghan, and today on HR After Dark, we have a phenomenal guest, David Beety, who is the Executive Vice President at PeopleShare. Ooh. Welcome.
It's like a big title there, Dave.
I know.
I mean, shoes I can't fill.
Popular.
Yeah. Yeah, so they just give it to anybody around my parts. Yeah.
I think the executive takes it to the next level.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's really good to have you here.
Yeah.
Our industry is really interesting right now.
Yeah.
So
Sure
why
is.
don't we start by talking about PeopleShare, about what you do.
Yep.
It's going to set the stage for our conversation today.
Yeah, absolutely. First, thanks so much for having me. I love the idea, love the concept, right? You guys executed beautifully, right? Sad for all your other guests that you had to put me in this group with them. They deserve better, but I'm happy to be here. What I do. So Executive Vice President for PeopleShare. I've been there almost 8 years, and I cover about half our cost center. So really focused on making sure that our people, our operations, our things are really true to who we are, right from Allentown, Pennsylvania to the top of South Carolina. Have an amazing team behind me. Certainly takes a village, right, to cover that much territory, that much ground, contain that much culture, right, and really the important things that drive us. So
Yeah.
that's it in a nutshell.
How many people are on your team?
Right now in the region, I think we're about 56
Okay.
that cover that footprint.
How many, you have a couple local offices, and then the ones that you're not seeing every day. Talk to me about managing that hybrid workforce.
We use the word transparent and nimble a lot.
So, you have a drink in front of you. If you want to drink it now, let us know.
You two are
Because
so
that's
lucky.
like, yeah.
Well, how deep are we going to go? Right.
Well, how much time do you have?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
waiting.
being
It's
that
all
I have
good.
nothing on the schedule after this, no.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Ching, ching.
Cheers.
There
Soon
we
enough,
go.
you guys.
So the way we're designed is really about a people first mentality, right? So we're very much in the field, right? We don't manage from behind a computer, right? We're on screen rather than on phones. We're out of email. We're very intentional about putting faces to discussions, but more so than that, we get in the field with our people every day, every week, right? So while I'm not readily available for some of the more distant ones, they have SVPs in those regions that are out riding with them every day, right? So our whole culture is built on a player's coach mentality, right? So nobody here is sitting there just looking at reports. Everybody's in the field doing the work, right? Because you can't help guide somebody from looking at a report. Yep. You have to be present. You have to be understanding what the objections are, what their challenges are, everything from logistics to pricing pressures to, client and prospect objections, right? So the way that we are designed is to be in the field first, at our desk second, right? So that means you got to be present where people are. You got to be able to get on the phone, chat with them, be accessible to them. So we're on 24/7, but we don't expect that for all of our people, right? It's just about a diamond-shaped support model for them, right? So if you think about an engagement ring, the ring on top, that's what everybody admires, right? At this point in my career, I'm no longer interested in being the diamond. I want to be the prongs that support them behind. I'll collect the dust, the dirt, the debris, right? What's cool for me is seeing somebody achieve something tomorrow that they didn't think was possible yesterday.
Just a good way to put it.
Yeah, I really love that.
Yeah.
Are you having your teammates come in 5 days a week?
No.
How many days?
So the way we designed it, and we've been like this since coming back from COVID, is we surveyed everybody, right? Because your people need a voice, right? And they said that they would prefer a hybrid model because they actually enjoy working together, which is great, right?
That's really
Testament
good.
to our people.
It's important.
But we start the week together strong on Monday, and we end the week strong together on Friday. So come together Monday, close out together Friday, lock in Tuesday through Thursday to really go heads down on your work.
That's
So,
interesting.
Do they come in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Nope.
Just Monday, Friday?
It's optional if they wanted to. The real estate's there for them.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely expected that they're remote Tuesday
Yeah.
through Thursday.
Yeah, usually here at the opposite
I
of
know,
like
right?
in Tuesday,
Yeah.
Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I like that.
We actually anticipated that people would say they didn't like the days, right? But when they understood the philosophy to it and then, the tactical application of it, they actually feel better about it, right? Something to be said for like getting up Monday morning, getting into your
Totally
routine,
agree.
starting, setting
Yeah,
the tone for
sure.
the week. Well, now they have to look forward to getting together and doing it as a unit, right? And then they move through their week together and they have the autonomy to do as they see fit Tuesday through Thursday, but come back and close out together for Friday.
And you had no comments of saying, it's too far, I can't. Everybody's been pretty open with that.
I will tell you that, one of the biggest things for us is that we sort of demand, right, transparency from our people. We give it to them and we expect it back from them, right? So we spend a lot of time asking them for the raw truth. We call it facing the brutal facts, right? So, hey, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, tell us what your proposed suggestion, to fix it is. I will tell you to almost to a person, everybody said, look, we want the flexibility, right? If I needed to swap a day here or there, could I do that? And we're like, look, yeah. Right? There's nothing stopping you. But the normalcy here is that our offices exist in such close pockets, right? Kind of like Wawa. Nobody that was working there to begin with was coming from too far away. Right. So we recognized that, Monday and Friday were going to be the days, and they were going to be, a little bit more flexible in their starts and ends to their days, Tuesday through Thursday. They were like, yeah, this works. Right. Like, thanks for listening. Thanks for applying the difference for us.
Oh, that's good. That works out well.
Yeah,
absolutely. And what about the market now? I mean, it has hit the recruiting world pretty strongly. And how so?
I will tell you that, last year was interesting for us. It felt like we came out of the gates lightning hot Q1 and 2.
I hear you.
Right? I think everybody felt the same.
Yep.
It felt like somebody hit an e-brake in Q3.
Yes.
And then it was like the Sahara Desert in Q4. Right. And everybody was like, the election or, the uncertainty.
It'll come back.
It'll bounce back. Right?
Right.
So we all, whether this isn't a political statement, it didn't matter which side of the aisle, but once the election was done. Right? Everybody felt business has to move forward and they just need to know what they need to know.
They did.
January was no better than Q4.
Nope.
And, a little bit of unnerved, through January and February. But I'd say the second or third week into February, it's like somebody hit a light switch.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, things that were put on ice were now lit up and we move forward. And our clients, new clients and prospects, I mean, the amount of business that has come through the doors since then consistently has been unreal.
That's great, though.
What roles are you seeing as the hottest roles to fill right now?
Yeah, for us, we have an interesting perspective, right? Because we're temp to perm and direct hire, but we're $15 to $35 an hour folks, right? So you're entry to mid-level. What I think is interesting about us, and this is at least my perspective, I can't prove it, but if we're busy, and we sustain busyness, right, that means that's very good for the economy.
Yeah, sure.
Right, so for us, clerical, administrative, accounting, and finance, and light industrial, I can tell you that there is not one sector of those three that's hotter than the others. They are equally moving forward.
Got it.
Not to say that we don't have a single situation with a one-off client or, where there might be some uncertainty around tariffs or concern about, economic drive for them, or maybe M&A is big in their particular manufacturing space. But by and large, the volume has just dramatically increased.
Oh, yeah. Where do you see getting busier, you think, third quarter or fourth quarter?
If you have a crystal ball, I'd love for you to share that. All right. But I do think four. I do think four, just from a non-emotional response, thinking about kind of where we are in the economy, right? I think that people are going to kind of, I'm going to say soft pedal their way through 2 and 3, right? And I think either way, by 4, you're going to get that kind of natural American resistance to say, look, it's time to go either way.
Right.
Like, we got to go, we got to grow, we got work to do.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And this is what I've been doing now.
I'm curious. Let's see what
Let's ask him more questions.
AI has to say.
So, talk to me about the way you hire internally. Are you hiring people right out of college? Like entry level? Do they have to have sales experience? What does it look like?
Yeah, so for me, it's all about the person, right? So we don't put bands or boundaries on those things, right? We are always about getting the right person on the bus, and that to me is much about culture and self-drive, right? Which also speaks to, who you hire is who you want to live with, right?
Yep.
So critical that you understand that you need somebody who's agile, somebody who's motivated, driven. We need to give them, kind of a level 5 environment where they can raise their hand and say, I don't know how to do that, but I want to. Or I made a mistake and here's what I think the solution should be, right? That is where we've grown in-house, right? We've been able to scale in a couple different ways, but promoting from within is not just a line we say. Right, it is something we're after every single day because we're trying to identify, some people call it succession planning, right? We call it leadership and expansion development plans, right? These are the folks that are going to propel us, right, to that next growth module. And it's so much more effective if you hire and train the right person and bring it from in-house than we've all tried, right, to go out of house and solve a problem. It's very difficult that way. right? So for us, it's always about, the command and control environment of like how you used to run a business is like there's a hierarchy here. We're an extremely flat organization. If you look at our business cards, our emails, nobody's got titles on there because we'll be the plumbers, the painters, the trash people, whatever you need us to do, right, to make sure that our clients are serviced and our people are met. Because if you're taking care of your people, they'll take care of your clients.
Yep, that's true.
So interesting. I'm going to give you an idea of what it said here. During COVID-19 pandemic, hold on, back down here. It said basically anticipated to experience a modest recovery in the latter half of 2025, with the fourth quarter, Q4, showing slightly stronger prospects than the third quarter. Now, which is interesting, the U.S. staffing industry is projected to grow by only 1% in 2025, which is like the lowest in years, reaching a market size of $189 billion. While this indicates a positive trend, this growth is modest, reflecting ongoing caution among employers, which I do believe is true. And so, but it did say by Manpower, indicating that 22% of the U.S. employers plan to increase hiring in Q4, resulting in a net employment outlook of 17%. It's a slight uptick in hiring intentions compared to early in the year. So I don't know. I think that's actually high. I don't think we're going to get that high, but we'll see what stats comes out on Friday in regards to unemployment again. So it'll be interesting if it hits higher than 4.2. And they're so afraid to tip it up higher, even though I think as recruiters, we already know it is.
And I love the data and the stats, and they're one single point of emphasis, right? What I can touch and feel every day, right, are our job boards, the client activity, right, and those two things are misaligned right now.
BLS, it's always misaligned.
And I think about it too, because that number is interesting, right? I think it was maybe 2 years ago, the staffing in the U.S. was $226 billion. Right now, it's down to $196, right?
That's a big jump too.
That's a huge jump, right? And I think that, how staffing, I just read something. I actually shared it with my entire team, right? I think staffing is evolving.
It is.
Right? Where at one point in time, right, the staffing industry was about being an approved vendor.
Yes.
2025 and beyond is about being a valuable partner.
Bingo. Totally agree.
Data,
relationship,
problem solution, relationship, really assimilating into the business as best you can, right? Because we can bring talent right up to your front door. But if there is not a partnership and a collaboration, we will fall short at executing how you want your hamburger cooked, right? We need that. We need that information. So I think that we're well positioned for it because of our culture, our people, right? For years now, if you asked us what was our driver in success in business, there was two answers: people and innovation. Right? And the fact, like right now, today, right, we're in the middle of an innovative time in PeopleShare. We spend every 6 months asking the question of our entire team: how do we help you do your job more effectively? Right? And people are like, that's great. We actually want to know how to get bigger, stronger, and faster from the people who are doing it. Then we take all the results, we share them out with the entire company, and when we start categorizing them. High cost, high impact change, pretty difficult to implement, right? High impact, low cost change, we'll make that change tomorrow, right? Because we are an organization that says we are never going to always do something the same way.
We're the same way.
Right? And this is big drivers for your guys' success, right? Your brand, your people, right? It's why you attract top talent. It's how you keep and retain top talent, because you hire smart people and you don't tell them how to do it. You teach them the rules to the game.
Absolutely.
I often describe us as Chick-fil-A, right? You're going to go to every Chick-fil-A. You're going to get the same product. You're going to get the same service. You're going to get the same experience, and it's predictable, right?
My pleasure.
That is exactly how we want to be. But we want to hire smart people and say, put your DNA on this. Here's the flow. Here's the process. Here's the rules of the game. Now tell me how to do it better.
Well, where do you find those smart people? Because that it factor is not as prevalent as it was. I would say even 10 years ago, if you had 20 resumes, I would say 5 had that it. 5.
I would agree.
Now, I see it in one, if that.
Right.
And so I'm always like, well, why wouldn't you do the extra? Why wouldn't you ask the question? Why wouldn't you do this? They don't. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, where's that it coming from?
Yeah, for us, our recipe to invite somebody on the bus has always been intentional. Probably longer than most people care, right, to go through. But we figured if we're going to ask you to sprint here, and we're going to want to grab you and pull you on the bus or the rocket ship, as we describe it, well, then it's worth investing. 2, 3, 4 meetings, right? And here's how it's going to go. your direct manager,
Yep.
right? Then you're going to go into your regional manager, who's also a hands-on support,
Sure.
right? Then you're going to go in and see exactly how the donuts are made here.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly, because nobody's perfect. Nothing is
No.
perfect.
Has to be a two-way street.
It's got to be a two-way street. That's how we have brought people into the organization, and we ask them each step of the way.
Yeah.
For transparent communication, we encourage, first of all, if you don't have any other opportunities, that concerns us.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
why are we the only ones interested, right?
100% agree with that.
Right? So we are looking for somebody who is worth having,
Yeah.
who's worth going through the process, who wants to be here,
Yeah.
who thrives in our environment. We show them the pace. We show them the
Yeah.
ugly, right? We
Right.
show them the difficulty. Try to talk them out of it,
Totally.
to be honest with you, right? To make sure that somebody has full autonomy
Yeah.
to make it an
Understanding.
informed decision.
Right.
Do you want to jump on this rocket ship or don't you?
Not easy.
But you're right. Maybe 1 out of 20 now.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
Now you're contending with, well, did AI write that resume?
Yeah.
Right? Does the two things match? Right. I think there's some truth to say that there's a younger population of employees that believe that quitting a job to ladder up somewhere else
Yep.
is kind of the strategy
Yep.
now. I comment all the time when I see somebody at a job longer than 5 years. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. I'm like, you don't see
Yeah.
that type
No,
of
you
tenure
do not
anymore,
see it. You really
right?
don't.
So I think it's a little bit of new age meets old school approach.
Mm-hmm.
We have nothing to hide. We want you to see it all. We're really direct and transparent. I mean, do we coach during our interviews? We do.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you're going to get coached here a lot, right?
Yeah.
We're all coaches. We're all getting coached. We
Yep.
all want to get coached because we're all trying to get an inch better every day. And if you aren't interested, our interview process will tell you what it's like to live here.
Yeah.
Day in and day out. And to that end, it's really hard to hire.
Yeah.
It is, but I do think people, I don't think they listen like they used to. Because I know sometimes we are very clear about
Disposable.
expectations. And I find out sometimes when they come on board, they're like, well, I don't do that. And you're like, but we had a whole 2-hour conversation about just
Specifically that.
that. And they're like, no, I don't recall that. You're like, no, I had another person with me. And this person thinks that too. I just think they have a mind in their head of what they think the role is. And no matter what you say, that's what I'm going to be doing. And then it doesn't happen, and then they get mad at you. Well, this isn't happening. I'm like, next I'm going to tape it.
Yeah.
Because I need you to see it, show yourself.
I want you to touch this, feel this,
Yeah.
and see this. Did you say this?
Yeah,
Yes,
because
yes.
I'm going to say, we did say that, you know.
Yeah.
And I think people have this expectation of what work is. And I think COVID did a lot on that for us. So it's been an interesting shift and change. And we do the best we can with what we have, but it has changed considerably.
I compared today to, do you remember the housing market when there was no supply?
Yeah.
You were happy to walk into a house.
Dave, there's still no supply.
Right.
Just let you know.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
But
That's okay.
not modern day.
Right,
I'm going
right,
back a
right.
little
Right.
bit. But you were so happy, like, oh, this just takes paint and carpet.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yep.
I can't wait to make an offer on this.
right.
And then there was an overabundance of supply because COVID shot the home
Totally.
prices up.
Yeah.
Everybody was willing to sell. I'm not buying this house. I'd have to paint and carpet it.
Yeah. God forbid.
It's a lack
Yeah.
of commitment.
Oh, it's
right.
totally
And it's
is.
a feeble yes versus an intentional I want to
Totally
be
is.
here, right?
Yes.
And I think we can compare that to how people make decisions about their job
Yes,
today.
agreed.
Right? There's less career and there's more job.
Yes.
And I'm going to go job to job that are going to fit my today needs,
Oh.
which I recognize might be different in 12 months
Yeah.
or 24 months.
Totally
right?
agree.
So we, right, know that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we get it right all the time because we don't.
I don't think anybody does.
Right, but we spend an inordinate amount of time showing them what a day in the life is
Yeah.
like, showing them what the commitment level is like, showing them what the career path
Yeah.
is. Right? Hey,
surprises.
right? No surprises. So you can't come back to me and say, I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
They will say now, this is harder than I thought.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll
You're
take that.
transparent from the beginning, and I think you've said the word transparent a couple times.
Yes.
The fact that you're asking the team, the current team,
Yep.
how can they be better, and then you're actually implementing it. That's what it's all about. Like when we do surveys for our clients, I'm like, we can do surveys as many times a year, as long as you do something about what you're going to read on those.
Right.
And I think that that's really one of the most important
That's
things.
it.
Yeah.
If you do a survey to check a box, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Because it
Yeah.
actually is going to throw gas on a fire. Why'd you ask us what our opinion was if
Right.
you weren't going to do anything about
Wait,
it?
I have to know what some of the responses are. So if you're asking, do you have any crazy ones? I'm putting you on the spot. So
Let me think about it.
and or also like what are some really easy things for us? I'm thinking about some of our surveys, and we've seen some interesting responses. But I think also the way people work is, we were talking about, it's just different now. It's like more of like, people want like a lifestyle business.
Yeah.
They want to be able to like fit their job around what they want to do in their life.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we try to accommodate everybody. It's challenging.
So you got 5 different generations in the workforce. It's very difficult.
Exactly.
Right.
So you can't ever make everybody happy. But
This level here is never going to understand this level. And when this level's now this level's still not going to understand this level down here. It's just the way it's going to work.
Yeah.
So why complain and just basically, this is what we're doing. You're either on board or you're not.
get off the
Get
off the rocket ship.
Yeah, it comes off.
So that's exactly right. And those words were exactly what we built kind of the purpose around the survey.
Yeah.
Before we launched them, we said, look, we want you to understand that. Go ahead and put your wish list in there. Right? But you have to understand that we still have to be a business and we still have goals and functions and we still have to, you know, support the masses, right? So we can't swing the pendulum so far this way or that way, but we're going to set the ground rules up front.
Yeah.
Put it all down.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So what we did is, you know, I'm going back. We've been doing this survey now for as long as I've been there, which 7 straight years, right?
Wow.
We do it every year, and every year CEO comes on and reports. Literally a publicized report of what everybody suggested.
What's the
what
biggest
everybody
thing that
wants.
you've achieved through that? Like, what was the biggest change you did?
Unity,
Oh, cool.
right? So what people felt was heard, respected.
Yeah.
We made adjustments. The things that were popular,
Yeah.
right? Like, I want to do my work wherever and
Right.
whenever I want to do it. And we're like, we hear you. And yes, except for, like, you know, kind of we deal with companies that are available during these hours of time. And,
Yeah, so you have to be
and you
kind of
talk to people
available.
looking for jobs during these hours of time. So we have to find a middle ground,
Yeah.
right? So that's where the hybrid came
Got
from.
it.
And right, so we had complete transparency,
Yep.
right? I'm going to use that word all of the time.
I love that. I love
right?
it. Yeah.
Like, transparency for us is brutal honesty.
Yeah.
Hey, we can because, or hey, we can't because.
Right.
And what we've learned is people can handle no.
Yeah.
They need to be heard, they need to be respected, and they want to see that what they have to say
Totally
is
agree.
valued.
Right.
And if they don't get their way, they're okay with it. They really are.
They are. I agree.
What you won't see is that if you do a survey with them, you ask them their opinion, and then they never hear from you again.
Exactly.
You build
Can't do that.
resentment.
That's like a
You
death
build
sentence right
anxiety.
there.
You
Yeah.
build resentment, right? But you know, some of the crazy things we got were like, hey, we want a 4-day work week before that was even ever a thing, right? Like, we're like, all right, great. How do you propose we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we left it up to them. Solve the problem and we'll consider it, right? Because if we could
Right.
solve it, we would have done it already, right? So
Exactly.
here's how much revenue and here's how much activity and here's how much production happens on that 5th day,
Yep.
right? We measured that for them and said, how do we replace that?
Yeah. Put it in
I
their
love
hands.
that you put it on them.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's-
we don't know everything.
But it also gives them an opportunity to think, and be creative and
Lego
you
set.
know.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
people sit back and say, I don't like the way that coach coaches,
All the time.
right? Good. Have you ever coached?
Well, my
Right.
husband's a coach.
Yeah.
So he comes home every night when he plays baseball. He's like, oh, another parent has said this and this. He goes, if they only knew how to coach and what goes into it.
Yes.
And I said, yeah, but you know, you've been doing this for 30 years. Like, you know what to expect. You know what's coming. You know how to diffuse a situation. You know how to do that. And you can tell a mile a minute when they're walking over. And
You can tell by the body language, they already got an
Absolutely.
opinion on something.
Yes.
But isn't that true about somebody who might be, you know, in a non-leadership
Yeah.
role, looking at a leader going, well, they should do this and they should do that.
Yeah.
And right, they make a unilateral statement that fits the need. Okay, no problem. I hear you.
Right.
Solve the problem.
Solve the problem.
Right? Because maybe I do have a blind spot. And just as much as we expect, you know, clear vulnerability from leadership is a
Huge.
must.
Oh, you have to be vulnerable.
Yeah, have to be, right? So it's a big deal. When I think about that diamond shaped
Yep.
support model that I was talking about earlier, one, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room because I'm in the wrong room.
Yep.
Number two, I don't have all the answers and I make mistakes every day. But the difference between me and you know, I wasn't going to say a difficult culture
Yeah.
is admit when you're wrong, ask
totally-
for help, learn
totally
from it,
agree.
grow from it, right? We have a win-or-learn mentality that we apply. But when it comes to making decisions for hundreds of people, you can't just unilaterally say, well, this fits everybody.
It's not cookie cutter. You can't.
Right.
There's nothing cookie cutter
Yeah.
anymore. Period.
Yeah, so our job as leaders, right, is to build a bridge between the problem and what the company needs.
Right.
And if we can build a bridge that goes both ways,
Yeah.
where it serves the population of your people and what the business needs are, then you've done some impactful work.
Totally agree.
And that's how we measure it. Hey, is the bridge half built?
Yeah.
Is it all the way across? Or have we not been able to start this yet? If we haven't been able to start this yet, give me an idea.
Have you ever done any system like an EOS system or anything like that? You know,
Done it?
have you?
No.
Okay. It just ran basically, got it moving, and you used an old system, and added to it.
Yeah. For us, it was, we spend a lot of time, like our processes are pretty easy, pretty clear.
Yeah.
They're hard to execute every day, right? But in terms of adjustments that way, we, from the people's perspective, right, this is all about what they need, how they need it, when they need it. And then once we know that, then we'll dot line that bridge back to the business needs and how do we cross.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have a lot of questions there too, so I want to make sure you've done a lot of research for this. You've been told not to.
Well, listen, anytime you put a microphone and a camera on me, I get a little nervous. I want to make sure I'm prepared.
I was like, we're just going to just talk.
No, but this is the raw and the uncut. And this is where, the healthy discussions happen because you can go down the right rabbit hole sometimes.
And also it makes you feel not crazy sometimes, for us at least.
Yes. Feeling like, we're all after the same
What is your, so with like, we were talking about the lifestyle business of people like fitting into like their work. How many hours a week are your teammates working?
What we ask of is, so there's a couple of different layers to that, right? Yeah. So our recruiters, we really want them to be 100 miles an hour dialed in from 7:30 to 4:30, 8 to 5, 8:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday, no more, no less, no FaceTime here, right? Because I need you to be balanced.
So 7:30 in the morning until
4:30.
4:30. Okay.
Yeah. With breaks and et cetera. But
so it's like expected.
Yeah. For us, it's, hey, these are the hours of operation.
How do you track that? Sorry.
We don't.
Okay.
Yeah, we really
trust,
don't, right? Well, because the way we're designed is every single position in the company moves a needle.
Yep.
We talk about the impact they can have. We can talk about the importance of their role, right? So that's all part of the interview process. That's all part of the onboarding and training, right? We go through that for 4 straight weeks about, hey, look at the size of your team. It's very intimate. Yeah. Right? In any one branch, we can have, up to a team of 15 recruiters or down to a team of 2 recruiters, right? And that business is, at a growth stage that's a lot different, right?
It totally is.
So there's a very different dynamic when you have maybe 15 or 16 people in a business versus 2. That's like brother sister intimacy every day, right? Like,
for sure.
Yeah. So the amount of camaraderie and the amount of trust that you have to have in that type of environment. But there's also something to be said going back to back in a foxhole. It's like, hey, there's nobody else here to do it.
Yeah.
We got to figure out how to divide and conquer, right? So now they have layers of support and they have those things, but there is nothing more important than when people feel that the work they do is critical.
Yeah.
And we let them know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They have to feel valued.
Yeah. And then, so we talked a little bit about the workplace changing after COVID, like going from some hybrid stuff and, I love the way you have this set up. You start the week with a team and end the week with the team. Anything else, any other trends you're seeing in the workplace that have changed? I mean, the reason I brought up the hour thing is that's one of the things that we noticed that people are, are ready to end their day when they're ready to end their day.
Yeah. What's interesting with that is, though, 2 comments is like the millennial side of the house right now, it's proven out there that they actually spend 1 hour less per week than basically like my generation, the X's.
Millennials do?
Millennials do. Now, the
Interesting.
Zs spend 2 hours less than basically what we spend per week. So the amount of hours that they're actually spending at work is actually decreasing. And now, does that mean they're getting more efficient? Does that mean more is getting done? Or basically they're not working as hard and the work isn't getting done. And so, but I find it funny because right now it's not more of a hiring freeze going on right now.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are doing, they call it reskilling. And so they're putting more effort into training and development, but they're not hiring or replacing some of the people that are there. So now this person who had plenty of time, yada, yada, is going to probably end up their hours because they're not going to be able to make it because they're working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting to see with that burnout for that group because that's coming.
Yeah.
I said a cautionary tale because people started talking about not replacing the headcounts and cross-pollinating. I'm like, look, so that's kind of, your leadership mistake 101. You dump the most amount on your top performers to burn them out. Now to have to replace your top performers, 6 months from now, 3 months from now. They can't do anymore. Because they're giving you everything they got and then some, and you just keep giving them more.
Yeah, because they're good.
Right. Well, we all, right? When I first started as a leader, I relied on my top performers for everything.
Absolutely.
And I gave a pass to those that maybe I couldn't trust or didn't rely on. Yeah, it's a mistake.
It totally
It is a
is.
mistake, yeah.
Mistake, and you have to learn it, right? Hopefully, if somebody's listening, right, I can help
Yeah.
you in your journey,
Yeah.
right? Don't do that,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
You gotta hold the accountability factor, but
It's hard though, because I think sometimes like they're overachievers and it's hard for them to pull back. Like we have a few that are overachievers, which
Yeah.
is, we love them. I'll do anything for them, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But, and then I have some, I would say achievers, but probably a little underwhelming achievers. And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, but what? What? They're very content where they're at. Like,
just
you know,
like an
but you're never
underwhelming
going
achiever.
to take on any additional responsibility. They're never going to take
soldiers.
on. They're very happy doing what they do. And that's fine. But it's figuring out that equal medium, because you don't want to burn out the overachievers either, because they take on so much more. And I'm like, you're not gonna have time. But they'll prove you wrong and say, I'll find the time.
yeah.
You know, and you're just like, oh. So it's a double-edged sword.
It is, right? And the way I address those things, because we all have them, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I my first question to maybe the overachiever is, how much is on your plate, right? Tell me what's on your list. Okay. Well, listen, if we can delegate these things, right, then maybe we can help free you up. But they're the one that, nope. I want it, right?
Yeah.
But,
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, but the team is made up of puzzle pieces, right?
Right.
You have some people that
She's
want
right over there.
This conversation is so
you have team members that are very content. They don't want to manage people. They don't want to take on more responsibility. They love the job that they do, and they just want to be responsible for
And
that.
I have some of those who do what they need to do.
You need people
aren't
like
Every
that.
business
Yeah.
every team needs that.
Yes.
right?
I let them do
Yes.
do whatever. You're amazing. I know what you're doing. You can be in Hawaii. I don't care. Because then you're getting yourself done, and no more, no foul. But you're happy, you're content. I'm so cool with that. Help yourself.
Yeah.
And
Enjoy.
the work gets done at a
Yeah.
high quality, right? And it's a productive person.
Totally.
Yeah, great, right? Then you have those that are trying to take on the world,
Yep.
right? And I tell them the cautionary tale. I said, look, you learn from my mistakes.
Yes.
Right. When I was first promoted to a management role, right, which was almost the demise of me, right, my sanity, I thought the way to help people was gimme.
Yeah.
I'll do. And it got to a point where I'm sending people home because I knew they needed balance. Go be with the kids, go be with the family, right? I was young, I was married, but no kids. I was like, I was in the office at 6 a.m. and didn't leave till 11 p.m.
Right.
Well, they didn't learn anything.
Nope.
I'm doing everybody's job. I'm not actually helping anybody grow and develop.
Right.
And I was doing nothing to bring up the next regime of leaders. So how big could we get? Well, how much could I do between 6 and 10 for how long could I do it?
And you don't really.
So you make a mistake,
Yeah.
right? So I crashed and burned and made every mistake I could possibly make. That's probably written in everybody's textbook about how not to lead,
Right.
That has only got me bigger, stronger, and faster to be today to know to say the first question is,
live and
hey,
learn.
why do you want to? How much can you handle, right? Hey, a good sign of a leader is that they have an opportunity to bring their team along, right?
Sure.
What could you get off your plate and who's next in your regime, right? How do you build and develop that, right? But I think that looking at, right, because going back to the initial question is like, hey, what's your schedule? How strict are you on it? Well, recruiters is a little bit different than maybe back of house.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't care when you work.
Right.
It gets done. It's on time. Critical things are addressed in the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you got to be nimble today. You got to understand the person. You got to understand the department. You got to understand how it supports the rest of your business.
Yep.
And you got to make an educated decision and say, do I care?
And
Does
it's a
it
big
matter?
decision. Yeah. Right.
And you got to be clear to everybody. You know why it doesn't matter if, so-and-so in marketing isn't available at 6 a.m.?
Right.
Because they don't need to be available at 6 a.m. Nobody's making a
Yeah.
marketing decision right at 6 a.m.
Oh yeah.
Right? And they're like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, as long as you're honest about it.
But I have some people that answer at 5:30 in the morning, and
Because that's
like,
when they can do their work.
That's what they do. And I have people at 11 o'clock at night. I'm always like, it's like an email fest. I'm like, hey, what you doing? Hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, my goal
Why are
is
you on
10
at
more
11 o'clock
emails
at
a
night?
night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good night. They're like, yeah, good night. And I'm like, good night. I'm like, really good night. It's like the old phone
Seriously,
call,
this
right?
is all, be off. Yeah.
And I appreciate that, and I tell them later, I'm like, thanks for doing the extra work. And then, you really do have 5 different groups of people in the workforce. So, and I think it's interesting. We have a lot of people who are in transition right now. A lot. We had a breakfast this morning with some senior executives who are amazing. And, we decided to really just share tips that were out there because we're all learning and growing. And I feel bad. It's very lonely at that level, especially a high level like that.
Yeah.
And so we shared some tips. It was a really phenomenal conversation that we had too, and people got really long. And so we're going to start up a WhatsApp group with it and keep them all together and include and share more tips.
Very impressive group too.
Wasn't it impressive? Super impressive group.
Yeah.
And I said, there's a need for it, and that was obvious because it was a packed room, and so we tried to make it very formal, not formal, informal, friendly, caring, and let them know you're not alone. But I do think times are changing, and I don't know about you, but I tell people every 10 years, like 2 years are phenomenal, 2 years not so good, and then your 6 years in between are just rolling the roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up and go down.
Peaks and valleys.
Especially in recruiting. Recruiting's always been this way.
Sure.
What's next for you guys? Any exciting things or trends you're noticing that you want to get around?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we're always looking for a fourth differentiator. We're very proud of the three things that separate us from everybody directly in our space, right? They spent years kind of, considering, the hedgehog method. Our company's built on good to great, right? If you look at the way we're designed, the way we speak about it, right? You could literally see the book open next to the business plan.
Absolutely.
Right? What's exciting for us is the fact that we're always asking the same question, right? Are we doing this the right way? Are we doing this the most effective? Are our people coming along?
Right.
Are they thriving in our environment, right? And if not, why? What can we do differently to get bigger, stronger, faster? So very much, on a growth plan for the national platform here. U.S. is the biggest staffing market in the world, right? We have a very unique shared advantage now through the acquisition with ProMin is that we're now in 24 countries. We understand what's happening globally, right? We get to be the voice and speaker for the Americas. However, what I can tell you is that, our design and our setup to be the partner versus the vendor is really showing very, very valuable right now, right? Because we're not bobbing our heads saying, yes, we understand this is customer service. We're just going to do as you fit. We're going to say, there's two more questions we need to understand, right? Why are you doing it this way? Have you considered this? And do you know that? Right. And we're giving third-party supportive data, so it's becoming much more of a consultative approach versus just a transaction, right? I think one of the biggest mistakes that people conduct in the staffing industry is that you have a need, I have a body, and we fill it. Wrong. Understand why that's open, understand what you're trying to accomplish. Hey, do you know, right, what's happening in your localized market, supply and demand, right? These are things that we've been doing since 2005 that are now, we're hearing from our clients more effectively to say, the way you guys operate is quite different. The way you communicate and your level of sophistication is very different, but we're not being charged for it.
Right.
Right. And matter of fact, we haven't even paid you. Right. Because everything's contingent. We're kind of old school that way. Like, you got to earn it by, having the right talent. So I think that's going to continue to propel us. I think that, partnering with ProMin is very interesting for us. It gives us a distinct advantage. No private equity, no shareholders, family owned. What does that do for us? It allows us to make silly business decisions every day to overservice our clients, make the right business calls, and support our people. Right? Because we're not answering to stock and share. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
But we're just not commercialized in that way.
It's a big difference,
Right? So I think it's one of our biggest advantages, right? To stay nimble in a market that calls for flexibility, calls for ups and downs, right? And I think it's really going to propel us for growth. What 2025 will bring, I think it's going to be, we keep using this term, this new normal, right? I think the new normal is people aren't going to change, right? I think that they've now become accustomed to, they're going to make decisions based on what their life calls for at the time, and that may evolve for them. But a business has got to be at its core, true to the mission, true to the value, true to their differentiated and value proposition, and they have to figure out how to fit people into that growth plan.
They do.
And that's what we're talking about right now. So.
Well, this has been great.
Tell everybody how they can reach out to you. Like, where can they find you?
How do they get a hold of you?
You'll find me at every networking event next to you, Marcia, next to you, Meghan, right? So you'll usually see us taking pictures together there.
That's accurate.
No, but we're very public faced, right? LinkedIn, our websites, has all of our contact information, always on the cell phone, right? So I don't know how much information you want me to, putting a phone number out, an email address out.
Share it. Yeah.
As long as you don't
Share
want
it.
on the locker room or something, you know. You never, you know.
Yeah. We don't do that. That's a no-no in HR. No, but I really appreciate you guys having me. You know, I think that we're having the right conversations amongst the right people that are always asking the tough conversations, because that's what we have to do, right? We have to understand, right, where the problems lie so we can attack them.
And be real.
Yeah, and what's possible.
We're gonna, transparency is the word for 2025.
It's a great word.
Yeah, we use that
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
We're very transparent, actually,
Yes,
here.
we are.
There's no surprises.
We share a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Predictable, right? So my number one goal, and I'll say to all of our leaders, hey, how predictable are you for your people?
Yeah.
Right, and they'll stop and they'll look at me. They're like, not today. Well, let me give you an example, and I'll close this with this. I woke up for whatever reason, just a little edgy this morning, just a little off, my chi, right? There's not enough of this going around, right? So I'm
drinking whiskey, Dave. Come on.
Yeah. So I get into a one-on-one with one of my awesome leaders, right? And I said to him, and we start talking, and I said, can I stop us for a second? And he says, yeah. I said, what's up? I said, I'm very well aware that I don't have the energy, I don't have the right mentality, and I'm a little chippy today. So I'm already telling you, I'm unhappy about anything I can't, but I'm very, very short right now. So anything that I say that comes off the wrong way, call me on it. And he just starts laughing at me. He goes, I got it. Right?
I love that, though.
Be predictable for your people. You don't always have to put on a mask of perfect, right? That's not a thing, right? But isn't this more human than it is? I think that's what the best evolution has been through COVID.
Yeah.
Is that we've gotten to be more human and less boardroom proper, if you will.
Yep.
You always got to be able to be professional, and that's not what I'm saying.
The complete opposite, though, Dave. Where you still have to be somewhat polished and professional and show up.
There's a difference between being professional, but you can also be human. You can also be kind, right?
Yeah, and speak your mind. Where I know, starting in the 1990s, like you were worried about having a job.
If a boss said, you did.
Right.
You thought different things. You went home and talked to your spouse, your significant other.
Yeah.
Right.
I no longer want that.
No.
We no longer ask for that.
You want your
bring it
teammates
to
to
the
tell
table
you.
right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
If something didn't sit right with you, call me on it.
Yeah.
And my goals, for sure.
Most of the,
You have no problem telling me.
Most of the time. Yeah, I don't have any problem telling you.
Yeah. Most of the team doesn't either. So.
But think about the dialogue, because you encourage it. You
Yes.
demand it.
Oh,
right?
I do.
For sure.
But that's where, I'm going to pull a little Gary V on everybody, because that's what I think about, right? It's like, bring kindness back into business, bring kindness back into leadership, right? Because you're not a manager and a leader. No, those two things, I know we separate them a lot.
We're humans.
We have to manage people.
Yeah, we do.
But you also have to lead them, and you have to do both.
But you have to be real about it and just be like, work still has to get done.
Right.
So just,
That's exactly right.
Okay. That just went, hey, how you doing? So
that drop?
my little
Sing
guy
us
come
something.
down.
I would like to hear you sing something to us with that.
You want to close this out with a tune?
No, I'm not going to do that today. Oh, say, can you see? There you go. I'm done with that. So enough of that. Done. So,
Cut it. Yeah.
So-
This is a great conversation. I think what I love about our industry in general is we're in the same. We don't do the same thing.
No.
But I know you guys are, like, I think of you as a partner.
Yeah.
Never as a vendor. So I love that that's what you're doing
seriously.
for your clients too. And that's kind of how we operate.
absolutely.
And so I think for us at least, we know what we're really good at, and we know what we're never going to do. And I think we're in the same boat about that. And I love that we can share. There's always enough to go around in our industry.
Absolutely. And I think that, I often, especially for my local teams, right? Every networking event, somebody's bringing up the O'Connor Group. I'm like, that is the model of reputation that we need to chase, right? Like that
well, we do pay people a lot of money to say that out there. So it does work, okay, by the way.
But all kidding aside, absolutely right? People do business with people they know and trust, right? And that starts with clarity, transparency, humility, right? All of the right things. And if we can build relationships with people, right, in a similar industry, right, and stay our lanes for the expertise, and then share them. And share them without any expectation. Now you have a network of people that are really supported in their relationship.
Oh, and just take care of them, right?
Yeah.
So
When we were starting this podcast, we met, and it was actually David who had the idea of saying, we're going to have a cocktail. We're going to talk through some horror stories in the HR world. And that's exactly, he kind of set the stage for HR After Dark.
Now, I was imagining is this thing still on? I was imagining a world in which we had blurred faces, a couple of martinis, and
It's
telling
live.
all about the
Yes.
most difficult, phone calls we get.
And sometimes we've had some of those conversations on here, and sometimes we keep it light. It just depends on. It's probably because I'm the one not having a cocktail, basically.
Pretty much.
Keep it in check. But,
When we get you back to the office.
yeah.
All right.
Round 2.
Yeah. Oof,
And
gloves off.
Yeah. We're gonna
Names
go
are
at sundown.
dropping.
We're gonna go at
Yeah.
sundown.
Yeah.
Right. We're blurring out
It's like
faces.
it's really
Right.
dark out now.
Yeah, it's
so,
actually dark.
Yeah.
And I envision a world of HR professionals and practitioners
Yes.
driving in, laughing so hard they have tears down their face,
They're like, "I'm
knowing
not
that they are
alone."
not alone.
Yes,
that's exactly right.
we were talking about. This is great at the same time.
So much fun. Yeah.
This is great. I
But
think
yeah,
this
make
is
it fun.
Yeah,
Work
we
is
will.
hard.
We will do round 2.
Yeah.
We'll do round 2 and make it fun.
Thank
And this
you.
is great. This is really good insight. I
Yeah.
love the way you're running PeopleShare. I think it's very thoughtful.
Yep.
I think that people work for you for a reason, and excited to just keep partnering together with you.
I like holding my little microphone. It's like the baby microphone. Like, baby
How
microphone
you
here.
actually sound though.
So who knows? I'm sure Andrew will tell me soon enough. So for sure.
Yeah, a little scratchy.
And
like,
that's a
Marsha.
wrap today. I'm going to let everybody go. Thanks everybody for being here today. I'm Marcia.
And I'm Megan, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care.